Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of KTN Newsdesk. This was unfortunately the 40th day for 3 suspected gangs along the Thika Superhighway. We will be giving you details of that.
Also, we have details of Kupet signing a deal with TSC as some members of Kupet defect. We have all those details. My name is Boni Tunya. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I'm Edith Kimani. 3 suspected thugs were gunned down by police this morning at the GSU Drift along Thika Road. Officers from the Special Crimes Prevention Unit were trailing the gangsters who were in a saloon car, and attempts to flag them down were ignored, which eventually led to the shootout.
Nairobi Police Boss Benson Kiboi says the 2 accomplices were however managed to escape with gunshot wounds. The thugs were planning to rob a go-down in Mirema area when police were alerted by members of the public. The Nairobi County Police Commander says they recovered a pistol, handcuffs and several communication gadgets used by the police. CORD and Jubilee Coalition clashed at the IEBC following complaints on the tribunal hearing today over the candidature of Kathy Kilonzo for the Makueni Senate seat. Now, the bone of contention being the jurisdiction of the tribunal. The hearing is ongoing at the Milimani courts, and our reporter Sam Ogina is following the proceedings there. Now, Sam, what are the 2 sides' arguments, if you can hear me now?
Thank you so much, Boni Tunya in studio. Well, of course, we are at the Milimani Court where the IEBC dispute resolution mechanism is sitting. It's the first sitting to hear and determine that is matters arising, dispute arising on the nomination of Kathy Kilonzo for the Makueni Senate seat on a CORD ticket, as well as there was a petition against that is Philip Kaloki, the Jubilee Coalition ticket for the Makueni Senate seat. But earlier on today, what was happening at the hearing is that there was a tussle whether, of course, the dispute resolution mechanism has the jurisdiction to hear and determine the eligibility of Kathy Kilonzo as a CORD that is CORD aspirant for the Makueni Senate seat. Well, CORD coalition lawyers led by PJ Kajwang were arguing that the matter that has been presented before the dispute resolution mechanism actually does not warrant the jurisdiction, or rather the IEBC dispute resolution mechanism has no jurisdiction to deal with the matter, because the dispute resolution mechanism is supposed to sit and arbitrate on matters that are relating to nominations, matters arising from nominations, but excluding matters on election petitions. Now, what they're arguing, Bonnie?
Ogina, allow me to jump in. Of course, now the matter, the bone of contention, as you said, is the jurisdiction of the tribunal. But do we know when exactly they will have a verdict regarding the candidature of Kathy Kilonzo?
Well, IEBC dispute resolution mechanism is supposed to hear and determine the matter within 7 days of nominations. Well, nominations and clearance of candidates for the Makueni Senate seat was done last week. Well, IEBC has until Monday, that is next week Monday, to hear and determine. Well, after today's hearing and submissions by both sides, that is CORD and Jubilee coalitions, the judges just took the committee, that is officials, took a short break, and they will be handing in their judgment anytime from now, whether they will continue with the hearing, I beg your pardon, into a full trial, or whether they will have to adjourn the case as it were. And if the case is adjourned, then it means if that is the Jubilee coalition feels that it is still aggrieved because they are claiming that Kathy Kilonzo's clearance and handing over of certificate for her to vie on a CORD ticket is a violation of the Constitution. That's why they're arguing that, in fact, the IEBC dispute resolution mechanism has jurisdiction to hear the matter. Then they will be compelled to move to the High Court to petition the High Court formally, saying that maybe just another avenue for legal redress, I beg your pardon.
Right, Samogina, many thanks for coming to us live from Milimani Court, and of course we'll be coming to you again later on as we look at the intrigues of the candidature of Kathy Kilonzo. Now, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, has in the last 1 hour signed a deal with the Teachers Service Commission that will see it call off its strike permanently. KUPPET Chairman Omboko Milemba says that the government has given in to their demands for harmonization of their members' allowances with those of the other civil servants, except for the leave allowance, which was supposed to have been concluded this morning. With the signing of the deal, the government is also expected to direct the Teachers Service Commission to release KUPPET's members' June pay, which it says has been holding hostage on account of the now suspended strike. Now, a final statement should be settlement of that particular deal should be reached by July the 15th.
Well, even as KUPPET signed the deal in Nairobi, away from the city, it seems to be a different story. All members of KUPPET in Narok County are now requesting their employer, that's the Teacher Service Commission, to effect their transfer to the Kenya National Union of Teachers.
KUPPET members in Narok claim that their National Executive Council betrayed the union members following this deal between KUPPET officials and the government. Members of KUPPET accused the officials of not involving them in the deal and therefore would feel better represented under the Kenya National Union of Teachers.
That is NUT, which is still agitating for teachers' rights and better terms. In light of this, public school teachers in Narok are still on strike until the government agrees to pay them leave allowances.
Yes. KUPPET has been engaging in supremacy wars with NUT instead of articulating the issues bedeviling the members. Number 3, KUPPET leadership structures are ambiguous and not member-centered. And we are telling our principals, the deputy principals, and the head of primary institutions to keep away from those schools. To keep away from those schools. The court cannot order these teachers back to class. The president cannot do it. The deputy president can do it. The only person who can call off the strike is the Secretary General of Kenya National Union of Teachers, and by his name is Muzo Nzili wa Kuhenderwa.
Well, yesterday during Parliament proceedings, we heard all sorts of things about cut, that it was an herb, that it was medicinal. And now the Meru County Governor Peter Munya has stumped plans by the British government to ban miraa as unfair to the Kenyan economy. Speaking when he met the Meru County Chamber of Commerce members in his office, Munya said that he is banking on the recent assurance by the British High Commissioner to Kenya, Christian Turner, that the UK government has no plans to ban cat. Wilkis Tanyabwa reports.
Every day, millions of shillings change hands as miraa begins its journey from the farms in Meru into the hands of local vendors and off to the United Kingdom. Traders send over 100 tons abroad every week. Now that door could be closed to them. This after the British Home Secretary announced plans to ban cut, a move that has sent jitters through farmers in the country's miraa capital, Meru.
Kama mimi nimelewa na miraa, nimesomeshwa na miraa. I'm coming all the way from Kisumu sababu nimemiss kula miraa. Na venye nakula saizi sidhani kuna mfungo anaweza sema nimempiga akakufa nikiwa nakula miraa ama nimefanya kitu kingine.
Meru Governor Peter Munya has announced plans to send a delegation to the British High Commission, the ambassador for Netherlands and the head of the European Union delegation to seek a solution on the miraa ban.
Miraa is one of our main crops. It is one of the major foreign exchange earners, not just for Meru County, actually for Kenya, for the entire country. So, making a decision, a hurried decision without even any consultation to ban miraa, we think it is unfair on the part of the United Kingdom, and it's even unfair on part of the other governments that have done that, including the Netherlands.
Though the Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs ruled that there was insufficient evidence that miraa causes health problems, the British Home Secretary argued that the side effects may have been underestimated. The Netherlands, the United States and Canada have also banned the sale of miraa. The Meru business community now laments that the impact of these miraa bans is already being felt, with most businesses already laying off workers. Wilkes Anabwa, KTN Newsdesk.
Now from Miraj, let's get back to Makueni and Kathy Kilonzo. CORD coalition candidate for Makueni Senate race, that is Kathy Kilonzo, has supported the move by the Senate to go to court seeking advice on the various bills that have been approved without the Senate's input.
Now, speaking at a fundraising for her campaigns, Kathy said that there's a need for both houses to appreciate and also understand that devolution is key to development in the counties and therefore should not be derailed.
Now, she expressed confidence in the Makueni Senate race, even though her candidature is still shrouded in controversy. A total of 8 million shillings was collected. Now, the by-election for the Makueni Senate seat will be held on the 22nd of this month.
I think it's important for everyone to understand what devolution is about, because the reason it was abolished in 1963 is not the same reason that we had it. Kenyans stated that they want devolution. As far as I'm concerned, members of a National Assembly and members of a Senate represent the people. And when the people say this is what we want, then surely we must all work towards that goal.
Machakos County Governor Alfred Mutua has defended the recently tabled county budgets that don't focus too much on development. Mutua says that governors inherited dilapidated structures and facilities, and this is the key reason most of the budgets are targeting to build new houses or refurbish their offices. Now, however, he challenged his fellow governors that this state of affairs should not be used as an excuse to hamper sustainable development at the county level.
So there's been a challenge, yes, but the challenge is mainly because there is nothing on the ground. The Transition Authority was supposed to have set up a lot of things on the ground. When we governors got in, it was as if the country had not known that there would be elections on March 4th. But I think it's also time for us as governors, as senators, as county reps, as members of parliament, as everybody. I think we need all of us as Kenyans to tune our heads into that old maxim that was spoken by J.F. Kennedy when he talked about the United States. We need to ask ourselves what we can do for our country, not what our country can do for us.
Let's now take you across the borders, where the South African presidency has denied reports that Nelson Mandela is in a vegetative state. Media reports quoting legal documents had last evening suggested that Madiba's family had been advised to switch off the life support machine as a result of his deteriorated state of health. Now, our reporter Asha Mulu is in South Africa and joins us now with the very latest on Mandela's health. Asha.
After visiting the ailing anti-apartheid icon here at the Mediclinic Heart Hospital in Pretoria last evening, South African President Jacob Zuma denied reports that doctors here at the Mediclinic Heart Hospital said that Mandela is currently in a permanent vegetative state. In a statement forwarded to journalists here in Pretoria, President Zuma said that Mandela is still in critical but stable condition, citing that nurses and doctors here at the hospital are doing all they can to make him comfortable and to ensure that he has a speedy recovery. This comes, of course, only a week before South Africans will celebrate the 95th birthday of their anti-apartheid hero. In the morning, children from orphanages came here with balloons, marking the 27th day that Mandela has spent in hospital so far, nursing an acute lung infection. Some of the children here and their supervisors quoted the event as being symbolic, symbolizing the 27 years that Mandela spent in prison and now being the 27th day that he is spending in hospital. South African media here are still reporting of an ongoing dispute that has entangled the Mandela family and Desmond Tutu, who is of course the retired Archbishop and Nobel Peace Laureate, talking about that dispute. Desmond Tutu has been quoted as saying that the family disputing at this time is equivalent to spitting in the face of Madiba. A lot of South Africans that we're talking to outside here also just expressing their concern and discontent in that kind of behavior. We understand that yesterday in Kunu, where the family assembled for a burial ceremony of 3 of their own whose graves were exhumed, there was a bit of a tussle here and there with Mandela, Mandela's grandson, making really snide comments towards some of his family members. From here in Pretoria, of course, we'll be giving you the live updates as they happen, as the world focuses its attention to South Africa, where the ailing icon Nelson Mandela is currently recovering, and updates on his health are still trickling in. I'm Asha Mwilu, back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Asha Mwilu, coming to us from Pretoria, where she'll definitely be keeping tabs on that story as it continues to unfold.
Right, and despite all the reports, I think the responsibility of Africans and all this in admiration of Mandela is keep praying.
Well, we take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have all the sports details and, of course, factors to watch with yours truly.
Bonito Business.